Yo, what is going on, everyone? It's Wraith here, back with another video. So recently I asked you guys what videos you guys want to see and what you guys would feel would help the most, and the top comment was basically how to W key and play aggressively. So I did make a video similar to this around 2 to 3 weeks ago, but in today's video it's going to be absolutely brand new tips that I've never talked about before on my channel, and some of them may be obvious to you guys, but you guys may have forgotten, but I guarantee at least one of them you probably don't use or don't know. So if you're looking forward to this video, make sure you slap a like button on it, comment what you want to see for a future video, hit that subscribe button, use creator code WraithFN in the item shop. And I did see you guys' comments on the poll of basically what you guys want to see at 50k subs. So I will be making a day in the life of kind of myself, doing YouTube, doing Fortnite, etc. And then I'll kind of give you guys a room tour / setup tour throughout that video. So once we hit 50k, look forward to that, but let's get right into the video. So for the first tip is you need to learn how to be completely relentless and always apply pressure even when you get hit. So basically what I mean about that is we'll kind of break this down into two different pieces. So for the first part is being relentless. So basically if you damage them or whatever the case is not letting them have a chance to heal. So basically for 90% of case scenarios when you fight someone, if you get the first shot off and you hit them for 60, they're just going to go box up and try and get off some minis, or they're going to try and get off a big pot or whatever the case is, right? And the best players in the world know how to keep applying pressure. They always shoot the right wall and apply their shots exactly when they know they need to, so they don't just spam all 30 bullets when they're trying to close the distance between the person and the like yourself in the box. They shoot in a little bit of a burst, like 5 shots here, wait for them to rebuild the wall, maybe get them a second into the mini, and then shoot another 5 times so they can just never get off that mini, and then they slowly close that distance between them and the person who is boxed. It's so important that once you damage someone to keep applying pressure, being relentless, always trying to take their wall, never letting them heal, because the second you let them heal, their confidence goes right back up and they're back normal. If they're at 100 HP, they are definitely way more nervous than they would be if they are at 200 HP, as well as obviously you only need to deal half the damage, right? If you let them pop 2 minis and they're at 150, they're going to be feeling way more confident, as well as you're going to have to deal an extra 50 damage to them with your shotgun or SMG. And then the next part is basically even if you get damage, you still have to be relentless. So for example, let's say someone shoots you first, or you get SMG'd, or you get shotgunned and you're at 100 HP. Instead of being that person where you just instantly go up and box, because 90% of people do, and then you're just on the defensive the entire time, you need to apply some pressure. You need to look up and try and get some damage off on them, because if you can take 60, 70 damage off when they're rushing towards you, they're not going to be expecting it, then they're forced to heal, then you guys can kind of trade heals, right? And then you're not as weak. Like for example, if you hit them for 70 and you're only at 100 HP, well then they're going to be forced to heal, and then you're going to be able to force to heal, and you're both going to be at around the 150 range, right? So it just evens out the scale. If you just go instantly and go and try and box and pop your minis, the same thing's going to happen that I just told you guys to do. They're just going to keep applying pressure, keep pressuring you until you die, because you're not going to be like focused on killing them, you're going to be focused on healing. Now my next tip, and this is a hard one to talk about, is learning piece control. Now so many people struggle with this, and it's such a difficult concept to talk about because it's very difficult and it's in very specific scenarios. But if you guys don't know what piece control is, let's say for example someone is boxed up and you're taking their wall. When they decide to leave, like say for example you take their wall, so they edit out to the side, to the left of their box, piece control would be you throwing a cone and floor on that left side of their box before they have a chance. So basically what that allows you to do is they're going to leave their box thinking they have a roof and cone or roof and floor above their head, when in reality it's yours, and then that way you can just instantly edit down, throw a ramp in, and then edit and kill them, right? That way basically they can't escape, and if they do try and escape, they're escaping into your walls. Another really great example would be, again, if they're boxed up and they don't have a wall behind them or something like that, and then you take their wall and they try and run away and like exit their box. If you can throw in a wall in where they don't realize that they don't have that wall, it's just the easiest kill ever, right? Like a really good player who has really good piece control is Unknown Army, and he does it so well. So for example, something he does really well, it's like his signature move, is he'll breaking through the top of someone's box, and then if they decide to edit the box or if he breaks in, he always throws a cone in their box. That way it's another piece control. They can't escape. There's a cone in their box that throws them off guard. They don't know how to, they're panicking. They can't edit down anymore. If they edit out, they're just gonna get shot. So learning piece control is just so important, and you can learn that by watching pro players like Unknown, Benji Fishy, or just practicing in box fighting in 1v1 or in 1v1s, and actually practicing trying to take walls where people don't expect it, or when they're trying to escape, taking the wall instead of going for the shot. So many pro players, and this is what separates a lot of pros from decently good players, is they'll go for the wall control instead of the shot. So for example, maybe if you take the shot, you get 70 damage, but if you take the wall and let the shot go, then you have the easiest 200 damage pump, or you can just play with them in their box because they can't escape, right? So my next tip, and this kind of is similar to the first one, and it's you gotta always try to be the one who's doing the first damage or the first hit or the first shot or whatever the case is, right? If you can shoot someone for 60 to 90 damage or even more right off the bat, it's so much easier to be like I said in the first tip, so much more relentless, and it's so much easier to fight to just force them to make a play or force them when they're weak, because once they're weak, like I said in the first part, they're panicking, they just want to get off that mini, and then you can just keep applying pressure. But it is quite a bit difficult if you get shot first, because then it goes back to that thing where I said where they're just going to start applying pressure to you. So if you can, when you're being aggressive or when you're being W keying, you always need to try your best to get that first damage shot in, because if you do, that'll push your chances of winning that fight up so much more. So this next tip is a little bit controversial in my opinion, but if you really want to be the best W keyer you can, like people like Epic Whale or whatever the case is, you need to land at a POI. So there's different POIs and there's different mythic weapons, but the best ones are I guess all of them are, besides the boom bow, is basically the mythic heavy AR, the mythic scar, the drum gun, and the minigun. All of those are just so good, and if you can get that, that allows you to basically W key anyone so much easier. Like having that drum gun where you deal 50 damage headshots, or I think it's like 42 damage body shots, something like that, where you can kill someone 4 shots, and it's literally like 40 bullets, and it just rips through builds, rips through people, literally OP, right? Same thing, if you have Brutus's minigun, absolutely shreds people, so it just allows you to be so much easier to W key, so much easier to get kills, because you don't have to worry about even sometimes switching to your shotgun, right? You can just straight up W key with those mythic weapons. Same thing with a scar. If someone's in the air, you can double head dink them or head dink and body shot them, and they're already 150 damage weak, right? So it's just so overpowered, and yes, obviously it is a little bit difficult to land at a mythic POI because everyone else wants them, but if you can practice and learn the drop spot and actually start surviving off spawn there, trust me, you are at such a big advantage to W key and play aggressive with those mythic weapons. So my next tip of advice is you need to practice finishing fights quicker. And that kind of goes back to the point where it says piece control, where basically there's only a couple ways you can finish fights quicker. Is one, you get a huge damage shot with like a shotgun, like a 180, 170, 200, whatever the case is, or 150. You rail someone with your AR, so hit them for like 120, 150, double head dink them, whatever the case is. That way it's just so much easier to pick up the kill because they're weak, and then you can just box fight them. Or, I think I didn't say this, but blocking. Blocking is the best way to kind of end a fight quickly, and that kind of goes back to that piece control, where basically if someone's trying to build up in a 1v1 or they're trying to leave in a box, just having that piece control and blocking them from leaving and escaping and drawing out the fight is just so important for finishing fights quickly. And that way, once you finish that, you get your mats back up, you get your health back up, and then you can move on to the next person, right? So blocking is just so key, as well as just dealing that first big damage shot or trying to get that big damage pump or big damage tack in, because that way you can end the fight way quicker. Like, I don't know how many times myself or even probably you guys have been in a fight where you'll hit someone for like 60 damage and all they start doing is just cranking 90s, and the second you get back up, they just crank 90s again, and it's just over and over again, right? And then the fight's 2 minutes, and then someone comes out and breaks you down, or whatever the case is, right? So if you can learn how to throw a cone in above someone by just 1v1ing in creative or whatever the case is, learn how to force them to not build up tight, trust me, you'll be able to end fights way quicker, and then your W keying will be so much better. Now my next tip, and the last one, which is also super important to be able to W key efficiently or effectively and get a bunch of kills, is you need to know hotspots. You need to know where people rotate from, especially from your drop spot. Let's say, for example, for myself, I like to land Craigie. I know that if I'm a W king and I want to get as many kills as possible, I have two options. One, I can rotate to Risky Reels, because basically everyone's coming to Risky. There's people from Craigie, there's people from Heavy Snipe, there's people from Pleasant, from Shark, even sometimes from Frenzy Field, or from the farm. So many people are converging on Risky that there's a high chance that I'm going to run into someone. Or I can rotate to Pleasant, because I know the Shark's coming through Pleasant. If the zone's over there, Pleasant people are still chilling there. People from Fish Island are going there. There's so many main spots that are hot spots for kind of each place around the map. Agency, if you land Salty, a good place to rotate is Agency. Same thing. Risky, if no one's at Risky, then you rotate Agency, because it's in the center of the map, and so many POIs and so many people's landing spots are right next to it. So it's super important to know, especially for your drop spot, where everyone tends to rotate, because that way you can rotate there and get the kind of surprise on them, get the first shot on them, and then go back to what I said about being relentless and just kill them easily. So if you guys enjoyed this video, if you did, make sure you slap a like button on it, comment what you want to see for a future video, hit that subscribe button, use creator code WraithFN in the item shop. I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.